Welcome to episode 24 of the Asian Football Show. My name is Kenta. I've been here for a couple episodes now, and I'm excited to say I'm a permanent member here alongside Erfan and Arya here. And we're going to be talking about some Asian Champions League football, U20s, World Cup stuff for the women's side as well. And I think we have some futsal here as well today. Yeah.
We do. So before we
Yeah,
get into the juicy stuff, if you guys are new to the channel, podcast, if you're listening on Spotify, whatever it is, make sure to like, subscribe, follow us on our socials. Everything will be down in the description. And for our Spotify listeners, yeah, make sure to follow us. It greatly helps us all. And without further ado, let's get started. So Erfan, what are we starting with today?
yeah. As Arya said, don't forget to subscribe. It really helps us a lot. And we're also starting an Instagram page, so we'll put that in the description as well. Would appreciate to follow there. So yeah, we'll start with the club action with the AFC Champions League Elite and the AFC Champions League 2, which kicked off this week, or last week actually. So in the West region, we'll start the defending champions at Ain hosted as Sad in a game where I predicted Alain would have win, considering they're the defending champions and they're playing at home. But Akram Afif got the better of an Alain defender's mistake and actually gave them the lead before Alain equalized. But there were some dodgy refereeing decisions, maybe in favor of Assad here. Nothing new with the Qataris and the refereeing. What do you guys think? Arya?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. There was 4 games on that match day. That Al Ain outside was the only game that I didn't watch. But I did hear tons of criticism on Twitter with how the game was being played. But I mean, it's not a bad result for both sides. They both sides are very very good. So we'll have to see what happens in the next few games for them. Akram Afif, as per usual, you know, being there for his team. I was particularly a little bit disappointed in Sufyan Rahimi. He's been on fire this year. Was actually kept very very quiet during this game. So I think he didn't have, I think he had like 1 or 2 shots for the whole game, which is unlike him. So Al Sadd did a good job of containing him. What do you think, Kenta?
Yeah, the home side looked like the better side throughout the entire match, right? Like obviously they were able to find their equalizer late, around the 80th minute of that match, and you're able to get a point at home. But I think it's slightly disappointing considering how many chances you were able to create throughout the match, and to concede your goal to Akram Afif in the way that you did, and you know to not be able to put a couple past um, outside that match and to not come away with three points. I think it's slightly disappointing, but a point's a point, and I think they're in a good place right now. If they continue this kind of form, that they'll be advancing to the next round.
Yeah, and I agree with you there. And considering the form as South have been in recent years, so they lost their last 2 home games. I mean, the last 2 league games, including with the one yesterday, they lost 5-1 to their arch rivals at the so yeah, they're kind of on bad form right now, and I think that's good for their next opponents, which is Esteghlal. Speaking of which, Esteghlal also played last week, and they won 3-0 against another Qatari side, Al Gharafa. And a very good win for the Iranian side. I'm happy with that performance. And I expected us to win that game, but not the way we did. I expected us to maybe be a 1-0 win, a 2-1 win, but we just dominated Al Gharraf. We didn't give them a chance the whole game. We didn't really let them even pass. Joselu was missing. Joselu who scored twice against Bayern Munich last season in the Champions League. He was missing against Esteghlal, so a very good performance. And yeah, coming to you, Arya, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, this Esteghlal side looks very, 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 very good. I know they just came away from a 2-2 draw against Nasoji Mazandaran in the PGPL, but I don't know, man. This is still a when it comes to the Champions League. Hopefully, I don't jinx them. They just look so different, so ready. The hunger's there. The players want it. Every single player in that game was good. I would say. I wouldn't really comment anything bad on any of these players. They were all there. Rami Rezayan was there. Did what he had to do. Scored a beautiful goal. Um, and if this SLL side can continue what they're doing, I think they're gonna finish strong in the group. And I was surprised that Al Gharafa was completely isolated. I mean, like you said, Hoseiny, the guy was non-existent. He barely had a sniff of the ball. So to see that, it's very, very promising for Estella for sure.
Yeah, and Kenta.
Yeah, that match, correct me if I'm wrong, had like a really early own goal, and I felt like it kind of set the tempo and kind of the mood for the match. Uh, I again, as you guys mentioned, Jose Lu, I expected more from him. He had like one shot the entire match. It just as a whole, it felt very one-sided. Despite you might go into the numbers, and I'm sure the possession numbers and all those kind of statistics aren't as lopsided as if you were watching the match. It felt very very one-sided. So very promising result on match day one to be at home and to get a really convincing result and get all 3 points. So SLR, I think they're in a really good position right now. So uh, that's promising start.
Yeah, and they finished match day one top of the West Side. And speaking of another game which people would have expected to be one-sided, Al Nassr played away in Baghdad to Al Shorta in a game which actually ended 1-1. So Al Nassr originally took the lead, but then Al Shorta equalized. And Al Shorta played really well, to be honest. And obviously, Ronaldo missed out for medical reasons. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but a lot of Iraqi fans were excited to see him in the capital, but he didn't travel. What do you guys make of this, Arya?
Yeah. Obviously Al Nassr were missing Cristiano Ronaldo, which is huge. But just on paper, looking at all the other players, Anderson Talisca, Otavio, Sadio Mane, Brozovic, there's really no excuse for Al Nassr to not win this game. But they weren't impressive, to be honest. I think credit should be given more so to Al Shorta, who they showed a lot of resilience against a side that on paper, like I just mentioned, are much better. Mohamed Dawood with the goal in the 24th minute. So they actually replied back to Aghanam's goal in the 14th minute right after and then settled for a draw. So I think it's very promising for Al Shorta and very worrying for Al Nassr because is this going to be like a situation where people are going to be like, okay, you're not able to win your games with Ronaldo, so is it without Ronaldo? So is it just a situation of Ronaldo has to be there for you to win your games? What's going on here? Because like I said, on paper, even if you don't have Ronaldo, should be winning this game 10 out of 10 times. They couldn't, and it puts them eighth in the group as of now. So we'll have to wait and see what happens for Al Nassr, but it's a very worrying start for them. I'll say that.
Yeah, Kenta, what do you think?
Yeah, you guys kind of took all my talking points there. It felt like Al Nassr had plenty of chances to put the match away. A lot of shots, a lot of great opportunities, and just never did. And with the quality, obviously, again, missing Ronaldo, but the quality of players that you have, a lot of like top end European experience on that team, you'd expect them to be a bit more clinical, to take advantage of those chances and put the game to bed. Um, but that's also a credit to Short and how they played. Like that, like to get that draw against Al Nassr at home is a really, really fantastic result for you, and that should be a boost of confidence moving on. Because now, at least at home, like you should feel confident that you can play any team and like get a result. And I think that's a great thing for the home fans and a great thing for your team heading into the rest of these match days in the AFC Champions League elite.
Yeah, and you could say that that result was deserving for both teams, but a result that was not deserving, in my opinion, Al Ahly versus Persepolis. Now, before this game, especially when I saw the lineup, I expected Al Ahly to cruise through this game, maybe 2-0, 3-0, and even if they won by a small margin, I expected them to dominate the game. I was completely wrong. Al Ahly scored in the first minute or second minute, I think, a beautiful goal by Frank Kessie, a very, very good goal. But then after that, especially from the 15, 20 minutes, it was all Persepolis, all of it. And they even won a pen. in the second half. But unfortunately, VAR ruled it out, and it's debatable. Some people say it's a pen, it's not a pen, but yeah, it is what it is. And but Persepolis had so many chances. That one shot that Vahid Emiri had, Austin Oronov had a good chance. It was just chances galore for the team, but they couldn't finish. Other than that, the creativity was there. The play style was very good, and they surprised me. If they continue playing like this, I think they can do well. Arya?
Yeah, you forgot to mention the penalty saved by Alexis Gendouzi over Riyad Mahrez, which I think would have also put the game to bed. So it's really unfortunate for Persepolis. I mean, I watched the game from minute 0 to 90, and how did Persepolis not even just get a point out of that is insane. They were very unlucky. So yeah, like you mentioned, if they keep that form against the other teams, I think they've got a good chance ahead. But this is one of those games where you just have to feel bad for the for the loser here, and it's football. Some games like that do happen. I mean, you probably don't feel bad if you're a Nistelrooy fan, so it's different. But if you're a neutral fan or and such, it's different. Kenta?
I'll be the first to admit I haven't watched any of the Saudi Pro League, so this is my first time watching, Ivan Toney with this new team, and I didn't know how that would gel, and I was not impressed at all with that front line of like Mahrez and for Bobby Firmino and Ivan Toney. It didn't impress me at all. So I have concerns moving forward of how that looks in these matches. Maybe it's a one-off because they've been playing all right in league play from what I've seen based off of results, but um, yeah, it's a really unfortunate result to not get a point there. If you're if you're going into Al Ali with this just absolutely stacked roster that these Saudi Pro League top of the Saudi Pro League teams have, but yeah, it's maybe not really deserved for Al Ali, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and Arya mentioned I might not be too sad. I'll have no comment on that. Anyways, as we move on, and the final Saudi team, Al Hilal, uh, they beat Al Rayyan. I mean, is this something they dominated the game? They could have won it by an even higher scoreline. It could have been 4-1, 5-1. Just Al Hilal, they're the Asian specialist, as you say. Great performance by them. Won 3-1 away in Al Rayyan, and nothing too surprising. Arya?
Yeah, dominant as always, and Al Hilal side, I think, still is for many the favorites for the west side of things. Um, and I don't really have much to say. I mean, when you've got a team as stacked as that, we're talking Malcolm, Sergei Milinkovic-Savic, Kalidou Koulibaly, newly signed Joao Cancelo, which was impeccable. Ruben Neves, Renan Lodi, Aldo Sari, Yassine Bonu, all these guys. I mean, these guys are Europe standard players, and they're there, for an AFC side, just completely dominating Al Rayyan. And Al Rayyan did get a goal through Roger Guedes in the 47th minute, but the game was already over at that point. So yeah, Kenta.
Yeah, this is what I expected from the other two Saudi Pro League teams. Like this is the kind of dominant performance I expected from all three teams, given the amount of money they spend and the quality they have in terms of individual talent on their rosters. Um, this is, yeah, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but like this should be the standard for a lot of these teams. Like they're favorites in this group, or if Western group, I don't know what I guess it's group. Like this should be the standard. Chao Cancelo looked ridiculously good. He looked so flawless in that match. I'm really excited to see this team play a couple more matches, but yeah, just pretty perfect performance from Al Hilal in the first match there.
Yeah, definitely. And the last game for the West region, Al Wasl traveled away to Pakhtakor in Tashkent and won that game 1-0. I've got to say, first of all, props to the Al Wasl fans. They went from Dubai all the way to Tashkent, and they were really good as well. They supported the team from minute 1 to minute 90. So I wanted to mention that. And Al Wasl, they're a team that usually have a very bad record in Asia as a whole. I believe they won like one of their last 16 or 17 games in Asia or something like that. But the Emirati champions, they won thanks to a goal from Buftini. Was actually been scoring a lot recently for them, so it was a good away win for them, and see what they can do. Arya?
I didn't watch this game too, so I don't really have much to say. It's just one of those games where it's like you have to grind to get the results, and it's just who grinded that game better than the other. But Al Bassel actually kind of, in terms of ball possession, I think Potato was a lot better in that standard. But for the rest, I think Al also had a lot more shots than Potato did, and a lot more corners and such. Just attacking display was a lot better for Al Wasl, and that kind of contributes to them scoring a goal in the 64th minute. Like I said, it's one of those games where you just have to grind for a goal, and then you just settle for that. You know who I was kind of surprised with? It was Dragan Cheran, the striker for Porto. First of all, I thought this guy retired. He still plays for Porto. I can't believe he still plays. Isn't this guy like 45 years old? I don't know. I'm surprised this guy's still there, tearing it up for Porto in their own respective league. But yeah, unfortunately, he wasn't much use in that game. So and so it goes for Caio Canedo as well. I think he was quite disappointing as well. So was substituted by Seferovic, the Swiss striker. He was also pretty average. So the players that you would expect to step up didn't really step up, and that's the beauty of the AFC Champions League, man. It's not always the big guys who perform. So yeah.
Yeah, Pau de Gor, like they I think you said they had more possession. It was like 2/3 possession. And they just didn't have any good looks at goal. Like if you were to look at their shot map, I don't know if there's a single shot that they took from inside the box. Like it was everything outside the box. They had possession, but they didn't create any good chances. And you're gonna face the Saudi teams, of course, in this group, and I just don't know what to expect from this team moving forward. Just because if you're not able to, if you have that much possession and you're still not able to create chances, then what's going to happen when you have less possession? You're playing more ball dominant teams. Like what's the result there? So I have concerns there, um, moving forward. But yeah, it's just one of those games where like counterattacking play just worked really really well because the other team weren't willing to take chances near the box and try to play more dangerously. It was very passive and taking shots from outside the box. So disappointing from what I saw, but
Yeah, and that's it for the West side. Interestingly, Al Wasl were the only away side to actually win from the West side. So moving on to the East, and what started what I would say was the match of the round. I'm sure both of you will agree. Gwangju FC of Korea, where I think debuting in this competition, won 7-3 against Yokohama. And what a game it was by Asani. I saw Jasir Asani play for Albania in the Euros, and I could see he was a very good player. I actually had no idea he played in Korea, but yeah, amazing performance. He got a hat trick, he got an assist as well, I believe. Uh, just an all-out amazing performance, but very bad defensive displays from both sides here, to be honest, especially Yokohama. Yokohama also did go to 10 men. Eduardo was sent off towards the end of the game, but then Takuma Nishirimo came in and scored one of the goals of the tournament. It was a very well taken strike from outside of the box. But yeah, insane game. 10 goals. You don't usually get to see that. Arya?
I think we should just set the light for Kenta here. He knows more than what we both do. I don't really have anything to say. I mean, what is there to say when a game finishes 7-3? It's just Gwangju was just infinitely better than Yokohama, and Yokohama's not a team that usually concedes that many, sets of goals, especially seven. So to see that was very surprising. I don't know what kind of ticked off for them. And they're doing okay in the league. I mean, they're ninth. They're not doing as much as well as I expected them to do. But for them to lose by 4 goals is kind of insane. So I'll let Mr. Specialist here, Kenta, go for it. You can rant or you can be happy. I don't know. Let us know.
Yeah, Yoko. Okay, first of all, Yokohama F Marinos. This team like 2 years ago had the goalkeeper of J League and like uh Yohei Takaoka, who's now in Vancouver. Like they were one of the best defensive teams. They finished second last year, and now you're looking at this team that's conceded the third most goals in league play in J League. Like this team has not been good. They have a positive 1 goal differential in ninth place. So I'm not saying this team this result is entirely surprising. Like I think in League Cup a couple matches before this had lost 3-1 to Consadole Sapporo, who are currently 19th in the league and clearly the second worst team in the league without a doubt. You went away, you played at home against Sanga, and then you went on the road, lost 7-3, and now you lost to San Francisco 6-2. Like this team is spiraling right now. And it just happened to be that it was your first AFC Champions League match day, and you just got annihilated. This team is not good defensively. Yokohama F Marinos, there's just not at this point. Major concerns, major red flags moving forward. I don't know what the solution is because it feels like there's so many issues. You look at that back line on the right side, and they were just getting torched and torched and torched and torched the entire match. Obviously, highlighted by the fact that opposition has a hat trick and 7 goals total. But yeah, very embarrassing result for I think Yokohama F Marinos, and lots of question marks moving forward for that team. Not sure what the solution is there.
Yeah, shocking there from last year's Asian finalists. Okay, so next game, Boram United, the Thai champions, played against Vissel Kobe in 0-0 draw. It was actually a good game. I watched this game, It did finish without any goals, but both teams had a lot of chances. And Boram United is actually coached by Osmar Los, who actually won the Iranian championship with Persepolis last season. And he's been doing very well in the Thai league as well. He's been undefeated so far. And yeah, Boram United, the Thai league has been on the rise in the recent years. And they played amazingly against Vissel Kobe as well. Didn't have as much chances, but like I said, very good defensive display. Um, Arya, if you guys speak about it, I'm sure Kenta again has a lot to say about this game.
Yeah, as a fan of Kobe, I mean, I was constantly just shaking my head. I couldn't really understand as to why Kobe were a lot more defensive than they usually would be. I mean, they did create a few more chances than Birmingham United, but you'd expect them to be a lot more attacking. And I wasn't really impressed with the lineup either. I don't know why you would not start someone like Yoshinori Muto, who has so much more experience uh, than the others. I just didn't really understand what the game plan was. Vissel Kobe kind of, I wouldn't say looked lost, but they just it's not the Vissel Kobe and you watch on in the J League and such. I don't know. It's just they played very they were very reserved. I think Kenta will have the same opinion as me. It just didn't, something didn't feel right, I guess, from that team. But credit to Buriram United, they actually had a few really big chances to score. But I think Dayamayakawa was impeccable. For me, I think he would have been the man of the match. I think he pretty much saved Vissel Kobe. If I'm being honest, I think he saved Vissel Kobe from a loss here. What do you think, Kenta?
Yeah, I mean, your starting striker Yuya Osaka, who has European experience, was left off the Matchday roster. I didn't check to see why he wasn't there, and of course, as you mentioned, Muto Yoshinori not even starting for this team. It's a really confusing lineup from Yoshida, the manager. It didn't make a ton of sense. It felt like they were almost underestimating the competition. It kind of reminds me of if you look at Japanese football as a whole, like their Costa Rica game at the 2022 World Cup, where like you're kind of just underestimating the opponent and trying to get by, and
Iran
opponent
at the
bites
Asian
you.
Cup.
No, okay. I don't think they underestimated Iran. I think they just were outplayed by Iran. I think there's an inherent difference there. But yeah, Vissel Kobe saved my Michael. Michael had five saves that match. They have, I think, the second best road record Vissel Kobe do in J League play. So this was a really surprising result. But yeah, it's just not good enough there again by another J League side.
Like, it wasn't a situation of them being necessarily bad. It's just they they didn't play like they usually would, especially as this is the Champions League. You have to be the best. Just didn't. I don't know if they were like trying to approach the game with a different game plan, thinking that it would work. Maybe, like you said, maybe they underestimated him. I'm not too sure what the game plan was, and it wasn't even really clear throughout the game either, because the lineup was completely different. Their style of play was completely different. They were very reliant on the defenders, which they usually aren't. So I hope for the sake of the team that changes. I really do hope they don't go guns blazing to the next game with that same game plan, because it clearly didn't work. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Rant over.
Um, Speaking of rants, we've been ranting a lot about Chinese sides, not only the national team, but their club sides in recent years as well. But things are looking good for them this year so far. Well, I mean, Shandong Taishan and Shanghai Shenhua both won. We'll start with Shandong, who beat Central Coast Mariners, who are the AFC Cup defending champions, 3-1 in Taishan. Valeri Kavashvili got the Georgian winger got 2 goals, a very good performance by him. And even though the Mariners actually looked good throughout the game, I wouldn't say they were necessarily bad, but they didn't use their chances. Their only goal came off a penalty scored by Dhaka at the end of the first half. So the first half actually ended, but then the referee restarted the game to go for a penalty review, and then the penalty was given for them. But overall, I would say a good tactical show by Shandong Taishan, and I think they deserve this win. Arya?
Yeah, you pretty much said everything I wanted to say. I don't really have much to add. Um, Shandong Taishan might be like the only positive Chinese football has at the moment. It seems, at least from the way they've played. So I hope I hope for the sake of Chinese football that they can keep this up in the next games to come. Because if you're a Chinese football fan, there's also I mean, speaking of Chinese football, we're gonna come to the next team that also did play in the Champions League. But in general, the Champions League teams are like the only sort of ray of light that Chinese football has at the moment. So may long it continues for them. Hopefully, they can keep that form ahead. But you pretty much said everything I wanted to say. So I'll let Kenta have his say as well.
Yeah, I almost feel bad for Central Coast. I mean, A League hasn't started yet. So like this is their second match after their season ended in like May. So you have such a high stakes match in Champions League football after like playing what probably a couple like preseason matches with other Australian clubs. Like this isn't like this is a really tough position for a club to be in. I know the experience over with CONCACAF over here, where like a lot of Major League Soccer teams are like playing their CONCACAF Champions Cup matches like less than a month into the start of the season, and it feels disconnected. The players aren't really on the same page. There's no real tactical identity early on, right? It's more just players on the pitch, and that's just really tough. Um, you go on the road against one of the better, if not the best Chinese side right now, and like just weren't good enough. But I don't know how much of a reflection that is long term on the Central Coast, or if that's just such an early part in their season that it's hard to really identify how good this team will be long term. But I'm still holding out hope for Central Coast. I think they'll be a good side and they'll make up some of the points here in Champions League play. But it's really tough for them for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they played well, especially considering it was an away game as well. So I'd say they were unlucky to score only 1 goal. Another Chinese team that won was Shanghai Shenhua. They beat Pohang Steelers 4-1 at home. A very good win. Cephas Malele, the Swiss striker, scored 2 goals for them. A very good performance by him, and another good performance from a Chinese side. I mean, are we seeing the rise of Chinese club football again? Are you?
Yeah, as I mentioned for the Shine on Shine game, I mean, yeah, Central, another team that was very good. And Pohang Steelers, they are actually doing okay in the league. I think they're fifth. I was expecting more from them. They weren't particularly good Uh, they were the finalists of the Champions League a few years back as well. Um, they they went five at the back. It didn't work. When you get scored 4 goals on and you start a five at the back, it doesn't work. It's kind of concerning. Um, so we'll have to see where it leads from then on because Shenhua Shanghai aren't particularly the best team either on paper, but they're doing very well in the league. So I think that form kind of carried on, and they're I think 2 points off the first team, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe this is a shift here. Maybe we're starting to see some of the other teams in this group just getting better and better and better. So I'm not too particularly concerned about Shanghai Shenhua. Mostly I'm concerned for Pohang Steelers because that's not a good display at all from a team that does have the experience in the Champions League. Kenta?
Yeah, Pohang Steelers, their position in the table is absurdly misleading in K League. They've been horrible since like late mid July. They've been so poor. Like if I were to go through the results here, let me pull this up here. Um, the matches before this AFC Champions League Elite match, a loss to Gwangju, a loss to Ulsan, a win in the Korean Cup. Back to K League, they lost 2-1. Back to K League, they lost another match. They were on a 6 match losing streak in K League play. Like this has been a really bad run of form. So I can't say I'm not that surprised. Going into this match, I've been told about their run of form, and I was like, oh, so maybe this is going to be a closer match. It wasn't just a close match. Pohang were just not. They were outplayed, and they were the worst team, and they lost. Um, I don't think the panic button is as bad as like Yokohama F. Marinos, but like it
It's
might
getting
be
there.
time to be it might be time to be a little concerned. They won I think this past weekend, so maybe they're raiding the ship here. I think they play Port, another Chinese team, this next window. So I'm really interested to see how that matchup goes and if they can kind of right the ship and get maybe 1 or all 3 points in the next window. But yeah, it's been a rough few months for Pohang Steelers.
Yeah, and another team that also faced the Chinese side and played the five at the back was Johor Darul Ta'zim or JDT of Malaysia. And they got a tie away at Shanghai. A very good performance by the team as a whole, especially by Arya. I mean, a very young player, a great winger. And we saw glimpses of him at the Asian Cup. I mean, that performance versus Korea was amazing. He even scored a goal there. And there's a lot of talk on him, not only around Southeast Asian football, but in East Asian football as a whole. And yeah, we saw this game how I would say he carried the team actually. You know, he was very good. He was a very good player, and I think he's an exciting player, and we should look out for him.
Yeah, as for me, I really only have 2 words to say. Arif Ayman. This guy, man, is the next big thing. So freaking good. Pretty much the future of uh this GTD side and Malaysian football in general. So I would love to see this guy play in Europe if he gets the chance. I think he's talented enough for it. It would be huge for Indonesian football, let alone Asian football. So I really only want to talk about him because he was that good. He was for me just fantastic, man. For someone that doesn't is not known to the world to come in and drop that sort of performance is amazing and simply commending for him. Kenta.
I feel like I'd be saying the same thing if I just kept harping on the same points here. Yeah, just a really good result on the road if you're JDT. And I guess if you're Port, you're also happy with the fact that you got a point out of it. But yeah, what an individual performance there. Um, bright future ahead.
Yeah. Moving on to the final game of the East region, and the only Japanese team that actually won, Kawasaki Frontale, played away to Ulsan HT and won the game 1-0, thanks to a goal from Makini in the 54th minute. And a very harsh result for Ulsan. I mean, they had so many chances, so much of the ball, and you know, you know, Arya mentioned this. It's one of those games where you have to fight for it, and Kawasaki just did that better, and they got it better. Arya?
Yeah, I remember us talking about Kawasaki Frontale a few months ago on how they're just not doing well. They're still not doing well. They're still, I think, 15th in the league. I mean, it's very surprising for a team of their caliber to be that low on the table. But I was impressed with how they played against Ulsan Hyundai, which on the contrast are actually first in their league. So you would be expecting Ulsan Hyundai to comfortably win against this Fontana side, but they didn't. They weren't that great, as you said. They had a lot of chances, they just couldn't convert. And it's essentially who can score first here. In that case, it was Kawasaki Frontale with a pretty nice goal. But I think this is a kind of a concerning thing here for Ulsan Hyundai, because you're in a very good position league wise. They're first, like I said. Going out in your first game and losing like that, it's concerning for the fans because you're expecting so much. You're 100% expecting a win if you're Ulsan. So I keep saying Ulsan Hyundai. That's not their name anymore. Ulsan HD. Brilliant name. And I'm kind of just thinking of it as a, is this going to be their year again, or is is there something to be worried about Champions League wise? And I wanna kind of know what Kenta thinks about that.
Yeah, what a shocking result. I know I was talking with a friend about this before the match happened, and we were both so confident that Ulsan were just going to destroy Kawasaki Frontale. Frontale, like home away splits, they've been the fourth worst team in J League on the road. The fourth worst. And then Ulsan have been in K League the best team overall, the best team at home. Like you talk about a stark contrast in terms of your form this season in your respective leagues, and to get a result on the road. Kawasaki, one thing that they did, they usually play that like 4-4-2-3-1 system. They changed to like a 4-4-2, 4-2-2-2. If I don't know what the technical jargon that you want to use for like FIFA formations, whatever you want to call it, right? They changed how their look, and it was a bit more effective. They were more, they had more consistency up the middle, tactically speaking. Like they're a bit more compressed, if you, or I don't know what the correct adjective to describe this is. It looked a lot better. They went back to the 4-2-3-1 this weekend, which is mind-boggling after you have a good result against one of the best teams in the Eastern region to go back to a formation that hasn't served you well. But look, ultimately, great result for Kawasaki Frontale. And a really disappointing one for Ulsan HD. I still have so much confidence in that Korean side just because of how dominant they've been in league play, and then also in the past. Like I don't think that this is an issue for them, but yeah, what a surprising result. Like so surprising.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if Ulsan can continue or improve on the performance, because if they don't, we might have to start calling them Ulsan SD. Anyways, I'm sorry about that. Moving on to the other club
No, no,
competition.
no, no. There's no sorry about that. Let's just rewind. That was the worst joke I have ever heard. It was a nice. The timing was nice. I'll give you that. But the joke itself was horrible. Anyways, let's move on. Let's move
Kenta,
on.
did you enjoy it at least, Kenta?
Did I enjoy it? I don't think I did. Yeah, no. It's more of like one of those like, ugh, do I have to give a pity laugh? Yeah, it was yeah, no, thank you.
But like I
No,
can't
no,
blame you
thank you.
though, because like it's such a bad name. Like why HD? Like what are you doing? Like what? In a few years they're gonna call themselves Ulsan 4K, 8K, 12K.
Surely
Like
they've put out like an official reasoning behind the Ulsan
I
HD
think it's
name, right?
sponsoring reasons. I'm pretty sure it's something to do with their sponsors. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I had that in mind for a bit, so apologies, but I had to get that out.
good, good,
Anyways,
good.
now the AFC Champions League 2 also kicked off. We'll start off immediately with Group A. Tractor absolutely destroyed Al Wakra 3-0 away in Doha. So great win by them. I mean, a perfect performance. Finished the game in the first half, defended well in the second half. Not much to say. And Al Wacker were just nowhere to be found. Arya?
Yeah, yeah. It's the dominant display for Tractor. I think Hoseiny was very good. Alireza Beranvan was really good too. Clipped a clean sheet throughout the whole game. Not much else to say. I mean, good for them, really. Kenta.
And honestly, not a ton more for me to add here as well. It's pretty one-sided, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. We'll just go through this, I think the rest of the games a bit quicker. So Mohan Bagan from India hosted Rafshan as well. You know, in a game where I think this was their most winnable fixture and the game where they should have aimed to win. They're hosting the weakest club out of the other three at home, so I would have expected them to win, but a 0-0 draw. So yeah, Group A ends like that. Tractor finished first, Rafshan second, Mohan Bagan third, and Al Wacker fourth. Um, in Group B, Al Tawan of Saudi Arabia played actually a very good game against Al Khalidiyya of Bahrain. And you know, I didn't expect that much from the Bahraini club, but they put up a fight and they scored 2 goals away. They could have even tied the game, but Al Tawan got away. Air Force Club of Iraq also beat Al Tanasir of Turkmenistan 2-1, which was also a very close game. Anything you guys want to add for this group? Arya?
Nah, not really. I mean, just standard stuff. The better teams won that day, really.
Yeah, I mean, I expected some of these results like to be a bit more than a 1 goal margin, but you know, a win's a win. Especially on the road. Um, yeah, there's not a ton to add here, is there? It's just pretty standard, I think, kind of expected for the first match day.
Yeah, and now moving on to Group C, and what I would say was the shock of the first match day. Sepahan lost to Al Wahdat of Jordan. Very disappointing performance. I mean, they took the lead from a beautiful Wahdat Hanan goal and early on, but then just completely disappeared. And yeah, Sharjah also won away to Istiklal. Playing away in Tajikistan is always difficult, so I would say that's a good win for them. But overall, disappointed in Sepahan. I thought they'd do better. Arya?
They were shit. So the most simple way, they were just shit. I mean, yeah, I don't know what Sepahan is doing, and I saw a stat. I think it's like they're like fifth or fourth loss in a row when it comes to the Champions League, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. But I don't know what the hell Jose Moraes is doing. I mean, you're doing this one the PGPL, but when it comes to Champions League, this guy is just not it. Anyways, Kenta.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, red card, of course. I don't think that really mattered. That was super duper late in the game and stoppage time in the second half. It's a really disappointing result, really frustrating one, I'm sure. But it just it. I don't think a lot of people expected this result, right? Like this is a big upset. I'm looking on Opta here and looking at the fans that voted on what they expected the result to be. 62% of fans out of a 5,000 vote like population expected Sepan to win. So and then it was 19 split between a draw and a loss there. Like that this is easily the biggest like upset of AFC Champions League 2 thus far, right? Um
Yeah,
And
for
and
sure.
you also have to put in mind of all the signings that Sepan have been doing. I mean, they just were nowhere to be seen. I mean, yeah, there was I don't know who scored that goal, but other than that, I mean, Mehdi Limucci was not good. Hasbovi was very average. Uh, Ahoipu was very average. Just not good enough, man. On a more positive side, and Zonzi did start. I think that was his first game for Sepahan. He was average too, but
He came
um,
on, I think, towards the end it was.
he did,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But in general, I mean, listen, when you've got some like, look at the players that Sepahan have, compare them to the Al side. You shouldn't be losing. You shouldn't be losing. So yeah, Jose Moraes has got some work to do. Hopefully, he can put some sense into these results. And moving on to Group D, right?
Yeah, and in Group
Actually,
C,
can we skip Group D because I don't want to talk about Osmo. Like, can we? Is there an option to skip that? because
Okay, how about
like
this? You can speak about the other game and just skip that game. Is that fair?
sure, sure, sure.
Okay, so yeah, in Group D, Kuwait drew 0-0 against Nassau Garshi. Very boring game, and there's not really much I can say about that game. But in the other game, Shahab Al Ahly won 3-1 against Al Hussein. Two Iranian players scored, Azulahi and Azmun. Um, but this game could have been a much bigger win for Shahab Al Ahly. I mean, I was at the game, and I it could have been at least 5-1, 6-1, maybe even 7-1. But Abu Layla, I mean, what a keeper this guy is. Yeah, I mean, he is the starting keeper for the Jordanian national team, so we have seen him previously. But wow, it was just phenomenal in this game, and I think won. He deservedly won the Man of the Match award. And even towards the end of the game, the Sharab Al Ahly fans cheered him on. He was just that good. Uh, so yeah, I think it was a very good performance by him. And Bashar Al Ali, on the other hand, also good performance. And I think even though Abu Layla had a fantastic performance, they still got to put three past him, which is massive. Arya, I don't know if you want to say anything about this team.
You serious? um, nah, I'm gonna give my flowers. Shawad Ali, I think they're probably easily gonna top this group, and players like Osmoon and such were very good, very very good. It hurts that I have to say it. What are you doing, man? This has ruined my whole summer with that fucking move. Uh, Nevertheless, I want to see who finishes second because I think Al Kuwait, Nasafgashi, and Al Hussein all have like pretty much equal chances of getting into that second spot. So I'd love to see all three teams battle out for that second spot. Yeah.
I'm reading. I'm gonna ask if I'm reading this correctly. 31 total shots, 11 saves. I mean, that's absurd. So I completely agree with your sentiment there. Then that I didn't really watch this match, if I'm being completely honest. But if you're recording 31 shots, you should probably have more than three in the back of the net. But that's I guess a testament to someone that Abu Layla, who recorded
18 of them
11
were
saves.
missed by
That's
Osman.
he probably should be converting more then, huh? Yeah, no, a win's a win,
In,
but
in other words, water is wet.
yeah, I mean, you probably should have converted more, but a win's a win. I don't think goal differential for them is gonna really matter. So
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, with all due respect to other teams, Shahab Ali should be winning every single game in this group. I mean, they're one of the favorites for the tournament. So, yeah. Anyways, moving on to the East region, Sydney FC played against the Eastern of Hong Kong and won 5-0. Very good win for them. I mean, a perfect performance. Nothing much to say. Sanfrecce Hiroshima also won their game. They won 3-0 against Kaya of the Philippines. There was nothing much to say. Expected results, to be honest. Arya?
Yeah. I remember, was it the last episode, if I'm not mistaken? I think Kenta made a good point with Sanfrecce Hiroshima, who are doing very well in the J League, currently top level with Machida Zogda. Now, it's going to be a battle between them and Sydney FC. Sydney FC are, regulars in the Champions League. They're always there. They've got a pretty solid squad as well. So I'm excited to see what the matchup between these two sides are going to look like. Kind of feel bad for Kaya and Eastern SC, to be honest, because with all due respect, they're just not at the level uh, compared to Sydney FC and Sanfrecce Hiroshima. So yeah.
yeah, I'll add the Sanfrecce. This is their first year at the Edion Peace Wing Stadium, so for them to host their first Champions League match at that new stadium, to get a result there is great for them. And Sydney, again, like I have the same concern with these Australian teams where like they haven't had. This is essentially preseason or like the start of the season, so for them to be pretty flawless in their opening match is I think a really good sign compared to what we saw from their Australian counterparts in AFC Champions League Elite.
Moving on to Group F here. I think this is the one group out of all of these here in the AFC Champions League tour I can say like all four clubs here have a decent chance at qualifying. I think Lion City Sailors were very good. Port FC were very, very good. Uh, and Persib Bandung from Indonesia, unfortunately, they never really lost to Port FC. I think they might bounce back from that. But Zhejiang from China, I think they were in the Champions League. Was it last year, if I'm not mistaken, or 2 years ago? They were actually pretty decent, no? If my memory serves correct. So this is a group that is exciting because they all have their own sets of fans. I mean, we're talking Singapore, Indonesia, uh, Thailand, who are just massive fans, respectively, of their clubs. So I'd love to see uh, a game between Persib Bandung and Port FC. I think that would be very cool. Um, and I don't remember if we made did we make any predictions on these groups or did we skim through
I
these? I
don't
don't
think
think
so. I think we just skimmed through.
I would have really loved to know what you guys would have thought about predicting these groups because it's very, very close. Nevertheless, Lions Crusaders and Port FC currently level with 3 points. So the two other clubs in the group have to wake up, or else things can get messy for them. Moving on to Group G now, Kenta.
Group G. All right. My Vietnamese is not there. So, their club Nam Dinh. If I pronounce that wrong, I apologize. They played a Hong Kong team, Lee Man, and won 2-0. I was looking through this roster for the Vietnamese side and have a couple of former Portuguese league players on their team. Pretty convincing result as a whole. Because like Lee Man really like didn't really get any chances um like at all. So pretty one-sided I think as a whole, and a good result on the road. And then the other one was I think Bangkok United uh with a what are we looking at here? It was a win for them as well. I think a couple goals. It was 4-2 um against the Tampines Rovers. I am apologize for the Singaporean club. Uh, Look, another pretty dominant result, I think, as a whole. Uh, you look at the stats here, 24 shots to 7, 55% possession to 45 isn't exactly dominant, but if you're looking at the quality of chances, the quantity of chances, it's really one-sided there. So, I think no real shockers in terms of upsets there, and two really convincing results. But yeah.
And just a question. I mean, Lehman, they're competing in the Champions League, but are there women's team, Lee Women, competing in the Women's Champions League? Oh, yeah, do you know anything about that?
Bro, you gotta stop with these jokes, bro. Okay, like genuinely, please, Lee man, Lee woman, what are you doing? Huh? What are you trying to prove here?
Anyways, moving on to Group H. Jean Bacon smashed Cebu FC of the Philippines 6-0. I mean, nothing surprising there. A great performance all around. They had 6 different goal scorers, which you don't usually see much. And then in the last game, Selangor of Malaysia tied 1-1 against Mount United, and they're both tied for second and third place. Not much to say in this group. I think John Buck will absolutely dominate, and I think Selangor and Mount should be fighting for that second spot. With all due respect to Cebu FC, I think they're going to be kind of the fodder in this group and finish last. So yeah, that's it for all our club action. We had a lot to cover. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Now we'll move on to the FIFA U20 Women's World Cup. So the final actually just took place yesterday, and North Korea beat Japan to win their third championship. They have the most championships now, along with the USA, and was it Germany? I'm not sure. Um, but yeah, Kenta, I'll let you take over and tell me about Japan and North Korea.
Yeah, you look at this, it's a rematch of the U20 female women's Asian Cup. And I saw a lot of people over on like social media, I guess, who haven't been paying attention to U20 women's football, which how dare you, are just absolutely shocked that one, North Korea are in a competition to begin with, which I guess is more uh just their ignorance of AFC football as a whole, but two, that the fact that they're in a final and they had beaten the USA. I know that was a big deal over here in the States, and they're like, what's going on? Yeah, this North Korean U20 team is so good. So I as much as someone that's Japanese wanted the U20 to win this World Cup, it's not terribly surprising that the North Korean team once again bested Japan. But yeah, what a good showing from the AFC sides at the U20 World Cup held in South America. Was it Venezuela? Was it
Colombia.
Colombia? I think it was
Yeah.
Colombia. Yeah. What a great showing for them. I know the U.S. won their third place game, so they beat the Netherlands in third place. But you look around outside of like I think Australia that finished last in Group A, like it was a pretty good showing by AFC, and maybe that's a I guess South Korea also was in that tournament. I don't, I did they finish third? But I think it's a testament to the future of women's football in AFC and how much it's growing on this continent. And that's a really exciting prospect to see that they're not just competing with the top dogs in the rest of the world. They're beating them, and it's an AFC final. Like that's not something I really expected going into this. So really impressive result by North Korea and Japan, and what a tournament.
Yeah, and all Asian football in the FIFA tournament. I mean, who would have expected that? Arya, what do you think of the Asian performances?
Big shout out to Manaka Matsukubo, who plays for the North Carolina Courage. I watched that game against the Netherlands. She was impeccable, man. So Japan has a real gem on their hands with her. I think she's would I say the next big thing, is that the correct thing to say? I'm not so sure, but definitely up there. Um, Kenta was correct. South Korea did indeed finish third. They lost to, yeah, was it Colombia, I think, 1-0. So a bit sad for them, but just to have an all Asian final, regardless of who it is, it could have been Laos against Bangladesh for all that matters. It doesn't matter. An all Asian final would be is insane, especially in a World Cup, with so many big, countries. We got the USA, Germany, Netherlands, Brazil, all these teams who you'd expect them to go to the final, and none of them did. So yeah, North Korea. Listen, I don't really know much about North Korean football. I'm trying to imagine how they're taking it over there. Um, yeah. So yeah, that's what I think about the tournament.
Yeah, great tournament overall, and very beneficial for Asian football. Moving on to another FIFA World Cup. This time it's the Futsal World Cup, which the group stages have recently ended. And I believe three of the five Asian teams have made it to the round of 16. Thailand, Afghanistan, who are making their debut, as well as, of course, Iran. So I'll start with Group A, Uzbekistan, as hosts, and they've been recently performing well. They were in pot one. They had a favorable group. I'm very disappointed considering last time out they made it to the round of 16, challenged Iran very well, only lost 9-8. So disappointed by them to win a single game at home, and I expected better. Arya?
So Group A, yeah, Uzbekistan, the host, you'd expect a lot more from them. Just it's not good, right? It is what it is. It happens. Kenta.
Yeah. I mean, Kenta, I think you don't follow futsal as much as us do, but you've seen how Uzbekistan has been rising in the football terms, and it's been similar in the futsal side as well. So, I mean, especially when you're hosting a tournament so big, wouldn't you expect more from them?
Yeah, finishing in fourth place in your group with 1 point certainly isn't ideal. Um, as a host, it gives very reminiscent vibes to Qatar in the 2022 FIFA World Cup, right? Where like you just underperformed as a host, and you expect a bit more. But yeah, I played futsal for like one season and hated it, and I have not followed it professionally either. So I'll leave the analysis of this to you guys here, as I don't know what I'm talking about.
I mean,
At least,
in,
at least go through the groups. At least go through the groups. So you're participating in some way.
I will list off the groups then. In Group B, we had Brazil finishing in first with all 9 points, a positive 25 goal differential. Second was AFC's Thailand with 6 points and a negative 2 goal differential. Croatia in third, -1 goal differential with 3 points. And Cuba, unfortunately, without any points, with a negative 22 goal differential across the 3 matches. What are your thoughts on Group B?
yeah, I'll start. I mean, I watched one of Thailand's games. I watched the one against Croatia in the opening day, and Croatia attacked a lot. I mean, they had so many shots, but man, Thailand really took advantage of the chances they had, and yeah, they won that game. They won against Cuba, and they made it to the next round. I prefer we not talk about Brazil because wow, just insane from them. Arya?
Bro. I have to speak about Brazil. Just look at my phone right here. Look at this. How do you go from a plus 25 goal difference and the second team that goes in has a mind? They lost 10-1. 10-1. And they still got do you know how insane that is, bro? I've never seen that in any other sport. Cuba has Yo, just retire the team. At this point, just don't even participate. That is crazy, bro. Like, nah, I don't even know what to say. Like, I'm in shock looking at that. A plus 25 goal difference, and then the second has a -2. Do you know how insane that is? Yeah, that's funny, man. That's really funny. And for Cuba, man, yeah, just hang up the boots, bro. It's not made for you. I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm kidding. If there's any Cubans watching this, I'm kidding. Please, I'm kidding. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. Okay? Moving
Arya
on to
is
Group C.
yeah,
Let's go.
Arya is not joking. He is not joking. He's been completely serious about this. Group C, we have first place Argentina with all 9 points, positive 11 goal differential, not quite Brazil's mark. Ukraine 6 points in second place with positive 2 goal differential. Afghanistan in their debut 3 points, -2 goal differential, and Angola finishing dead last, no points with a -11 goal differential for Group C. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, I want to give my props to Afghanistan. I mean, they're managed by um, and the Iranian head coach Majid Mortazai, and they've been holding a lot of their camps in Iran as well because of the situation back home. And considering their situation, I mean, a great result. I mean, they surprisingly made the World Cup in the first place, and on their debut game, they won against Angola 6-4. Great performance by Kazem and Nourizadeh. Both those players I think play in the Iranian league as well. And then, but the game that impressed me the most was the one against Argentina. I mean, Argentina won the World Cup not the last time, but the previous one, I think. And they're a big name in futsal. And you only lose 2-1. And it was actually 1-1 until the last 8-9 minutes. But then um, Mateus Rosa scored to win the game for them. So very good performances from them. And I think they deserve to go to the next round. Arya?
Just a friendly reminder that Brazil went plus 25 goal difference and Thailand went -2. I want to come back to that and just like, do you guys know how insane? No, I'm kidding. We're going back. Okay, no, in all honesty, yeah, I agree with you, Erfan. Afghanistan, what's going on? We've spoken about it countless times on the podcast. Sports wise, they're not doing well. I don't know if you guys have heard, but apparently, they're trying to get rid of cricket there, which is crazy. What else do they really have is I guess football and barely even that. So it's a huge result. Huge result. I'm really happy for them. These players kind of have to work in some way. If you really do look at it from an ethical perspective, they have to work like 10 times harder than all the other teams, because they're at a disadvantage already. So really you have to commend them for that. It's awesome. I'm happy for them. And I hope they do get uh even further. Moving on to Group E now with Tajikistan. Kenta, I'll let you take it.
Tajikistan, yeah, with another Asian group and group team in Group E. Portugal finishing first, all 9 points, a positive 13 goal differential. Morocco finishing second with 6 points, positive 2. Panama, not advancing as a lucky loser, 3 points, -7 goal differential. And Tajikistan without a point, 3 losses, with a -8 goal differential.
Yeah, I
Your
mean
thoughts?
Tajikistan, another Central Asian side making their debut at the FIFA World Cup, and I think this was a matter of experience for them. I would have liked it if they won their game against Panama, or at least performed better. But I think this tournament as a whole was a matter of experience for them, and I think they can just build up from here and hope to qualify for the next World Cups. Are you?
Yeah, you're right. Lots of experience for that Tajikistan side. Like you said, it's their debut. They're slowly kind of, rising in the football scene, now in the futsal scene as well. It's pretty good to see. I think the tournament just came in a little too early for them to really, you know, I guess perform. But they'll take that experience with them and apply it to future competitions. So moving on to Group F now, which I think is it's the last group. Yeah,
It is the final group, F for final. Iran topped the group with 9 points, positive 14 goal differential. France in second with 6 points, a positive 4. Venezuela in third with a negative 6. Were I think the last lucky loser to make it onto the knockout stage. In Guatemala without a point once again here with negative 12 goal differentials. Your thoughts
Yeah.
on
we're
Iran?
winning. We're winning the World Cup. It's as simple as that.
I want to talk about this. I mean, no surprising results, but that Iran versus France game, man, disappointing. Just especially the first half. Both teams wanted to avoid winning this game, because to avoid Brazil's side of the bracket. And okay,
I
you
don't
can
blame them.
understand
You
that.
know why I don't? You know what? Sorry to cut you off, Erfan. You know why I don't blame you for that?
Why?
I'll tell
Tell
you
me.
why. Do you really want to know why?
Tell me.
Because if we win, listen, if we win our next game against Morocco, we're gonna play Brazil, who have had a plus 25 goal difference in their freaking group, compared to their second, Thailand, with a -2. Do you know how insane that is, bro? I don't blame them for wanting to avoid Brazil. I would have avoided Brazil. You would have avoided Brazil. Kenta would have avoided Brazil. We all want to avoid Brazil. Plus 25. What are you doing?
I get you there, but I mean, it's not in the spirit of the game. And Iran, to be fair, in the second half, they actually played their game. They started playing well. But France, man, just disappointing. Ruined, I think, the fans' experiences. And there's been a lot of criticism on Twitter I've seen for both teams, but especially towards France, who they haven't shown a reaction so far. But yeah, France are also making their debut at the Futsal World Cup, so not a good first showing for them, I could say. So, Kenta, why don't you take us through the Asian side round of 16 fixtures?
Let's do it. Let's pull this up. So you have, of course, we just touched on it. Iran playing Morocco, and the winner will play either Brazil or Costa Rica. That's still technically a possibility
Brazil.
here.
No, forget about Costa Rica. They're not.
Scratch
I
that, scratch
refuse
that.
to not say that it's not a possibility because it is. All right. Afghanistan playing Paraguay. That should be a fun matchup there. Kazakhstan playing Portugal, I think, and then Thailand with France for
Yeah,
the
Kazakhstan. I
Asian
mean,
matches.
Kazakhstan is an Asian team, but they are playing in UEFA.
Yeah, but
So yeah. So my thoughts: Iran versus Morocco. First of all, is a great game. I mean, Iran's road to the final is just crazy. I mean, if they beat Morocco, who are ranked sixth in the world, they gotta play Brazil, who have a plus 25 goal difference, like Arya said.
You want me to
And
do it?
then,
You want me to do it? I think I
yes,
have to
please do the
emphasize.
honors, please.
They have a plus 25 goal difference. Do you know how insane that is? Yeah, keep going.
Thank you for that, Arya. And yeah, they gotta play Brazil if they win it. And if they win against Brazil, I mean, we have done it previously at the 2016 World Cup, we did beat them. Then they have to play Spain. So very hard games for Iran. But we've looked good in the group stages, and hopefully we can continue that. Maybe not plus 25 goal difference, but still we played well. Afghanistan also, I think they've done well already. Anything other than what they have achieved already would be extra. And I don't expect them to win versus Paraguay. Paraguay have been performing very well. But I hope they put on a good show. Thailand against France. I hope Thailand absolutely destroy France. I mean, France have just ruined the whole World Cup for me, unless Iran goes on to win it, of course. But yeah, Arya?
Um, I was really impressed with Behruz Azimi from Iran as a youngster, one of the youngsters. This guy is he's still raw sometimes in front of the net, but he's very, very good. I really enjoyed him. Uh Salapro as well. Was very, very good. Other than that, I mean, Brazil against Costa Rica, plus 25 goal difference. I think we all know what's gonna happen in that game. I hope Thailand does beat France, like you said. I was very disappointed in France. I don't think they had to play like that, but it is what it is. I don't blame them. Again, plus 25 goal difference. I would have done the same. And Paraguay versus Afghanistan is going to be an interesting one. I'm very excited to see if Afghanistan can actually pull it off. They do have a chance. Like they genuinely do have a chance to beat Paraguay. Paraguay aren't necessarily the best side either. So uh, yeah, kudos to Afghanistan. Hopefully they make it. And that closes off the Futsal World Championship. Kenta, can you make some sort of comment on the Futsal World Championship? You know, you can talk about the plus 25 goal difference. You can talk about the plus 25 goal difference. Anything, you know?
It
And talk
kind of
about
sounds like
Japan not
Costa
making
Rica still
it.
has a chance, right? Okay, well, Japan didn't make it. All right, we're past the point. We're past that. Okay, we're not going to talk about that. Yeah, I still will hold out hope that Costa Rica has a chance. I don't think they realistically do. However, they still a match to be played. Still a match to be played. So I understand the positive 25 goal differential that Brazil has across 3 matches. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. However, there's still a match to be played. So until that match happens, I've seen crazier happen in the world of sports. That's all I'm gonna say. I've seen crazier happen.
I'm gonna counter your whole speech with
Oh,
this.
screw off.
Look at the odds, bro. Look at the odds. 1.01 odds for Brazil to win. That's how one-sided it's going to be.
And I think if you bet on this game, you actually lose money if Brazil win. That's how one-sided it
Yeah,
is.
literally, you're gonna lose money if you if you bet on Brazil. That's
I
how.
don't promote sports gambling. However, that seems like a terrific opportunity to put like $5 on the line because you either lose $5 or like you're making stacks on stacks on stacks. And in sports.
I'm not. I'm not.
And
I don't promote sports gambling, but Kenta is
But
doing.
again,
But please gamble. I don't promote gambling, but please gamble on cost. We need the support here, guys. All right, I want everyone watching this to just put a fiver, a tenner, a dollar, whatever it is. We need to eliminate Brazil by any means possible. Okay, I don't want to face a plus 25 goal difference team. Please, like, do it. If you're not gonna do it for me, do it for Erfan. Okay, please, just do something. All right.
yeah,
Like,
kids, don't forget to gamble. It's very important.
strike the referee down if you have to. Just do something, please.
Okay. So if there's anything you guys want to add, Arya, anything you want to add before I end the episode?
No, thank you guys so much for watching or listening. Make sure to subscribe, like, follow us on our social media. Obviously, everything is going to be down in the description. And yeah, I'll let Kenta finish off the episode.
yeah, I have one shout out. Kit's right behind me, Nick Markatic. Congratulations to him. He broke the single season USL championship record for goals, and he's going to be joining the Indonesian national team along with his twin brother Anthony very soon here. So very exciting for him to also get that move to Castellon in La Liga too. So big moves for Nick and the Charleston Battery there. But
Yeah.
no, he's had such a good year for them. So shout out to him. He's going to be joining the AFC international scene very soon. He's gonna be fun to watch. But yeah,
You know
again
what's not going to
honored.
be fun to watch? Brazil
What?
versus Costa Rica. That's not going to be fun to watch. Have a
Okay.
good day, guys.
Thank you, Arya. Thank you, Kenta. Like Arya said, make sure to like and subscribe if you want to hear more of us and more of my jokes, especially. And hope you all have a good day and goodbye.